Hello? What do you want?
Bradley Yates. No playing with balls in the corridor.
I wasn't, miss.
On your way then. You're late, Miss Wooden. Mr. Lennox is a busy man. If he's kind enough to help you with your maths, the least you could do is turn up on time.
Yes, miss.
Well, look at that. Been a long time, eh? Remember around the corner there? The site of your first cigarette, as I recall. You damn near coughed up a lung. The state you were in, I thought you must have smoked the entire pack.
Don't remember.
Excuse me for a minute. Thanks. We've shut the place down for the day. Sent the kids home.
What's Miss O'Brien doing here?
Well, the kids were pretty shaken up, and we have used her before.
Who's that?
It's Eva Blackwell, headmaster's secretary. She found the body. She and the young Lisa Wooden.
Miss O'Brien.
Mrs. Wooden would like to take her daughter home.
I have taken all their statements.
Fine.
Come and see me if there's anything you need.
Thanks, Maddie.
Is it true? It's Mr. Lennox?
Go home, son.
Come on, Paul.
The last person to see Joseph Lennox alive was Miss Blackwell at 5:30 yesterday.
No one noticed he was missing.
Oh, he lived alone. Family's in New Zealand.
Let's see what he can tell us, eh? Goodness me. Nasty, nasty gash to the forehead. Bruising around the eyes. Blunt force injury. He's been hit with something, obviously, several times, I'd say. And look. Bruising on his torso. I'll be very interested to take a look at his ribs. And the autopsy will tell us more, of course.
We'll start with the staff. Get the teachers into the staff room, see what you can find out.
Yes, sir.
Rigor indicates he's been dead for a while, but the blood on his face seems to be very fresh. Hello?
What's that?
He's lying on something. A trophy base.
Where's the rest of it?
I have absolutely no idea.
We'll get the boys to have a look around the school. Get Lennox down to the mall, see what else you can find.
Boss, the deputy head's out in the corridor. And by the look of his hands, he's been in a fight. The name's McAvoy.
McAvoy. Not Donald McAvoy.
Yeah? Why?
Oh, it can't be, can it?
Donald McAvoy.
Look who it is. Splash Laws. What's it been? 35 years?
What happened to your hand?
Boxing practice.
Who are you practicing on?
No, I got a punching bag set up in the shed.
Have a seat, Mr. McAvoy.
I don't get all formal on me, Splashy. It's done. Hey, Eva, why don't you get the superintendent a cup of tea? How do you have it? Wig? 2 sugars?
No, thanks. We'll continue this at the station.
Your call.
There certainly is a lot of blood. And yet, his nose definitely isn't broken.
The ribs are intact too.
I'm just surprised. I was expecting much worse, given the extent of the bruising we saw earlier. Oh well, let's open him up, eh? Ruptured spleen, cause of death, I'd say.
There's a lot of excess blood here. Any relevant medical history?
Nothing in his hospital records.
I'll do a blood film, check for leukemia.
Alice, look at this. Just on 7 ounces.
His spleen?
Double what it should be.
A rupture might explain that.
7 ounces. Multiple blows, yes?
Had to be if it's that enlarged.
Yes, quite.
What are you doing?
You see? Instinctive. You're trying to block me.
I'll do more than block you in a minute.
No, look. Look at his arm.
No significant bruising.
Exactly. Looks like he may have been taken by surprise, possibly by someone he knew.
How'd you two get along?
Couldn't stand him. We don't win respect by treating children like adults. Someone's got to show them who's in charge.
And that's what you do.
It's my job to keep him in line.
How old is Mr. Lennox? Must have been a bit rough. Bloke nearly half your age. Takes your job.
We told the board what they wanted to hear. I don't work that way.
So that's what happened. You resented him, lost your temper, gave him a clip around the ear.
I think he's holding a bit of a grudge, your boss.
Where's the rest of the trophy?
We used to corner him behind the bike sheds. Want to know why they called him Splashy?
Mr. McAvoy!
Come on, mate. Water under the bridge and all that.
You haven't answered my question.
What trophy? Splashy.
Smarmy bastard. Hasn't changed at all. Give me a hip flask.
Well, I'm not carrying that flask. You know me too well.
What's the verdict?
Alice is still running blood tests. It seems Lennox died of a ruptured spleen and a massive internal hemorrhage. I'll swap you. The sort of damage we're talking about suggests he endured repeated hard blows to the body, which is odd because...
No bruising on the arms and no grazing on the knuckles. No defensive wounds.
You sound like a police surgeon.
Maybe McAvoy surprised him.
Well, even if he did, there'd be signs of a struggle. At the very least, evidence of a knockout blow to the head.
Maybe he had someone hold him down.
There'd still be defensive wounds.
What, so the bloke just stood there and took a battering?
I'm simply pointing out an inconsistency. We'll know more when we get the bloods back.
Sir, Doc, we finished searching the school grounds. We did find this. It was under a bookcase in Lennox's office.
Toe cap. Well, I can tell you it's not Lennox's. I examined his shoes. No caps.
Take your shoes off.
What? Why?
Just do it.
Who's this?
It's Lucien, Donald. Lucien Blake. Dr. Lucien Blake now.
Bloody hell. Lucy, you've eaten your spinach.
Shoes.
You can polish them while you're down there. You used to be good at that. So, Lucy, last I heard of you, you're off to some posh school in Melbourne.
Yes. And you're still at Ballarat West.
Deputy head there now.
His toe cap's brand new. This left one's rusted. It's been there a while.
So?
The one found in Lennox's office had a similar amount of wear and tear.
Bad news, Cinderella. You're not going to the ball.
The wounds would look the same whether he was kicked or punched.
Yes, I'm aware of that. That's not what Wilson wants to hear.
His blood soaked through the sheet.
That can't be right.
And the sample shows no evidence of coagulation.
Those test results back yet?
Do you want me to rush them?
Might be an idea, eh?
I lost the toe cap a few days ago.
Well, you're kicking the living daylights out of Joseph Lennox.
Just a waste of my time. The only reason you're keeping me here is you're still carrying some stupid sort of grudge.
We just finished interviewing your colleagues, Mr. McAvoy. Now, some of them mentioned an argument between yourself and Lennox on the Oval at around 3 yesterday.
Tell us about that. I'll ask you once more, then I'll remind you pending further investigation. What were you arguing about? Have it your way. Donald McAvoy, I'm arresting you.
All right. We had a blue.
What about?
Money had gone missing from the school funds, over 100 quid, straight into his pocket.
Do you have any proof?
Didn't need proof. So I confronted him.
What? On the Oval?
What did he say?
He denied it, of course. So I gave him a choice. Either I'd go to the board and he'd be sacked, or he can resign quietly.
Why didn't he come to us if he thought he was stealing?
I can fight my own battles. So then I demanded his resignation.
So you could have his job. Yeah, that sounds like you.
He's something, isn't he, your boss?
What?
Sir, Dr. Blake's on the blower. He says it's urgent.
Lock him up. You sure about this?
Routine toxicology confirms massive levels of warfarin, which would explain the failure of the blood to coagulate.
Yes. He was poisoned over an extended period.
But you said he died of a ruptured spleen.
Well, people on warfarin can bleed excessively, even from minor wounds. It built up in his system until it reached critical mass. A decent blow to the spleen would have possibly killed him.
So what about the sustained beating?
Given these bloods, it could have been as simple as a single blow to the face, then another to the abdomen. In fact, that would explain the absence of defensive injuries.
So the blows to the body would only have killed him if he had poison in the system?
Yes. Bear in mind, we're talking about long-term repeated exposure.
Warfarin.
Yes, blood thinners. Again, significant doses. Rat poison.
Well, that's a pesticide.
Rodenticide, technically.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Harvey.
Look, I simply can't believe Don McAvoy would engage in this sort of thing. I think we're looking at the wrong person.
I'll organise some warrants. We'll have to search Lennox's house and McAvoy's.
Matthew, should you be...
I won't be conducting the search. Davis will do it. Anything else?
No.
So what's with the boss and McAvoy? Bit of history there.
Now, Charlie, I don't think that's any of our business.
Hey, Doc, why would a bloke like Joseph Lennox collect model cars?
Depends. Maybe there's an emotional attachment, anchored to childhood memories, something he could never afford but always wanted. Or maybe he just liked cars.
Yeah, I was just expecting you to agree that it was strange.
Right.
Anything?
Nothing that rings any alarm bells. Charlie, would you mind checking the bathroom for medication?
How did you go? Just some magnesium and painkillers.
Right. I'll analyse those along with his food.
What's that?
An earring. A clip-on. I found it under the fridge. Charlie, is this the sort of house you would bring a lady friend back to?
I wouldn't know, Doctor. I live in a boarding house.
Right. Yes, vitamin C, Bex, milk, lettuce, eggs, etc. I did find one clip-on earring found under the fridge. Now, I'll analyse the food for warfarin, but I'm not holding my breath.
What about McAvoy's house?
Blood pressure medication.
Contains warfarin.
Yes, it does contain warfarin, but the sort of damage we're dealing with, my God, it would take dozens of bottles.
Well, maybe he used dozens.
I'll call his GP, see how many prescriptions he had, but I don't think that's the answer.
And we checked his shed. I mean, he was telling the truth about having a punching bag.
I see you've still got McAvoy's shoes.
Still got McAvoy. I'm keeping him overnight. We have witnesses who saw them arguing, we have physical evidence, and I have a motive. I'm keeping him overnight.
What if we don't find anything
We'll
more?
deal with it tomorrow!
Ballarat West was your old school, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, for a little while. Hasn't changed much either, I'll tell you.
Oh, that's not what I've heard. Some of the ladies in my sewing circle seem to think that your Mr. Lennox was rather too progressive.
Well, they would think that, wouldn't they? Not nearly enough corporal punishment for that lot.
My boys, especially Jack, could have done with a little more discipline, given the circumstances. Gravy?
Yes, please. I'll tell you what. Based on the contents of Mr. Lennox's kitchen, he wasn't doing much cooking.
Headmaster, long hours.
That's what his secretary said. He spent all his time at the school.
Have you spoken to the ladies at the tuck shop?
No, why?
When I worked at the tuck shop, some of the teachers asked us to supply their lunch. If he's not eating at home, well, that's where I'd start.
One's cheese and chutney, one's plain cheese.
Thanks, Mum.
Tell Lisa I'll be home after lunch.
No worries.
Sorry about that. I feel terrible leaving Lisa at home.
Your husband still interstate?
Yes. But Paul's been a great help.
How is Lisa, Mrs. Wooden?
She's shaken, but Miss O'Brien was so good with her. And what can I do for you?
We've had a number of children come through the surgery with tummy complaints. I was hoping to have a look at your facilities.
just to make sure everything's all right.
Oh, well, it's a shock about Mr. Lennox. Oh, he was very kind to us since Tony's been away.
Just out of curiosity, Mrs. Wooden, did the tuck shop provide Mr. Lennox's lunches?
Oh, yes, every day.
Aye.
Why?
Oh, as I say, just curious, really.
Oh, what's for the... I'm so sorry. We've had a lot of mice lately. It's the dry weather.
Not at all, that's not a problem. My word, that's a lot of cake.
Leftovers from the fete the other day.
Ah.
Baking competition. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Do you use anything other than the, the thingy there to control the mice?
No. Well, this is a kitchen, so we can't use poison.
Really? And what's this?
Large quantities of this could definitely thin the blood to the levels we found in Joseph Lennox.
What about those pills of McAvoy's?
No. It would take hundreds of those pills to achieve the desired effect. Whoever poisoned Lennox probably used something like this. Matthew, what did happen between you and Don McAvoy?
Nothing.
I had no idea that poison was there.
You've never seen it before?
Never.
Mrs. Wooden, we'll need all the names of the staff and parents who have access to the tuck shop.
I had keys. Another one of the mums, Mrs. Banning.
Did Donald McAvoy ever come in here?
Never. His wife always made his lunches.
Anyone else? Any ex-employees who could have kept their key?
Mrs. Wooden?
Well, there is Caroline, I suppose. But she hasn't been here for weeks.
Who's Caroline?
She was a teacher here, up until 6 weeks ago.
Why'd she leave? Mrs. Wooden?
She was in a relationship with Mr. Lennox. And it ended quite suddenly.
I don't know where he's involved with anyone.
No.
They kept it very quiet.
Joseph insisted. He hated gossip. He was a very private man.
When did it end?
6 weeks ago.
I understand you worked in the tuck shop.
We all did.
Donald McAvoy as well?
Just the women, of course. Why are you asking about the tuck shop?
What happened to your keys?
I gave them to Eva, Joseph's secretary.
Why would there have been rat poison in the cupboard?
What are you talking about?
We believe Mr. Lennox was poisoned.
The paper said something about someone attacking him.
We're following up on a number of issues. The poison?
I don't remember seeing it.
Miss Palmer, forgive me, but why did your relationship with Mr. Lennox end?
You'd have to ask him.
Well, since we can't, we're asking you.
That's not mine.
No, I realise that. That's a clip-on. And I see your ears are pierced. But I found this when we searched Mr. Lennox's house. Now, was he seeing someone else? Is that why the relationship ended?
No. It ended because he told me he found me revolting. He said I'd let myself go. And since then, I haven't been able to leave this house. I know nothing about another woman.
I am sorry. Miss Palmer, if I may, what happened to your hand?
Burnt my fingers on the hob this morning.
Dear, oh dear. Well, I can tell you, sticking plaster isn't ideal for burns. Would you like me to take a look at that for you?
Do you see her wrists?
No?
Old scars.
Right.
So what are you thinking?
I think that Lennox was having an affair with someone else. That's why the relationship ended so suddenly.
Someone at the school?
It'll explain why he spent so much time at work. Eva Blackwell found the body. She worked very closely with him.
She also had access to the tuck shop.
I'll get Charlie to go back to the school and re-interview her.
I might tag along if I may. Listen, you going to release McAvoy?
Doesn't look like I have much choice.
You want me there with you?
No.
Don't think much of your accommodation.
You're free to go. For now.
Where are my shoes?
We're keeping them for the time being. You'll get them back when the investigation is closed.
So you can hide behind that uniform all you like. She'll always be splashy to me.
It doesn't work on me anymore.
When you return my shoes, I'll expect an apology.
Someone was poisoning Mr. Lennox. Someone who had regular access to his food.
I hope this isn't an accusation.
We just need some more background information, Miss Blackwell.
Yes.
What can you tell us about Mr. Lennox's diet? I understand he had his lunch supplied by the tuck shop, is that correct?
Soup or a sandwich every day. He loved his routine.
Caroline Palmer told us she returned her tuck shop keys to you some time ago.
Yes, she did.
Where are those keys now?
If Mr. Lennox had his lunch supplied by the tuck shop, as you say, I wonder, what about his breakfast and dinner?
Well, he ate his breakfast at home. Cornflakes. Every day.
How do you know that?
I did his shopping.
Right. And what about his dinner?
I'd organise an extra sandwich. And he liked his toast.
He liked his toast. If you don't mind me saying, that seems like intimate knowledge for a secretary.
Do you have a housekeeper, Doctor?
Yes, I do.
And how well does she know your habits? Mr. Lennox had a very important job. My role was to help him to do it. Anything else?
What? I trust Mrs. Beasley over that woman any day.
Yes. I'd have to agree with you there.
I'll speak to the boss. Bring her in for some questioning.
Now, Charlie, those tuck shop keys. Good man.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm Paul Wooten, Lisa Wooten's brother. She was there when, you know.
Yeah.
I'll leave you to it.
What can I do for you, Paul? Look, you wanted to talk to me, didn't you?
After the sports day, Mum took Lisa and I home. We just got in the front door and I realised I forgot my medal. 100-yard sprint.
Right.
So I went back to get it.
And what happened?
I didn't see anything, but I heard them shouting.
Who?
Mr. Lennox. He was really angry.
Who was he shouting at, Paul?
I don't want to get anyone into trouble. I might be wrong.
It's okay. It's okay. Who was it? Was it Mr. McAvoy?
Miss Blackwell.
The secretary.
She was crying, then she got angry. She said she was going to kill him.
And you worked hard, didn't you, Mr. Lennox? So who came to find you? Well, what we do know, Mr. Lennox, is you're a middle-class man who seemingly didn't eat very much. Breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, and then what, nothing till 6 or 7? Man of your size, a man of your age. But you liked your tea, I'd say. Several cups a day. Tea and cake. Tea and cake. Cake. How much did you enjoy your cake? Cocos nucifera. That'd be your coconut, Mr. Lennox.
It must have been difficult. Working so hard all the time. I mean, he couldn't do his job without you. He relied on you. But he never once acknowledged how important you were. You deserve more than happy festive season, Miss Blackwell, once a year. Is that why you stole all that money? There's nearly 120 quid there.
I was going to give it back.
Yeah, of course you were. But Mr. McAvoy found out the money was missing, and he accused Mr. Lennox of taking it. Was that why Joseph argued with you?
He called me a pathetic woman. I just wanted him to notice me.
Of course you did.
Ah! How did you get on with the secretary?
Well, she's been in love with him for years, but he had no idea. So she started stealing money to get his attention. McAvoy found out, and Lennox confronted her.
Charlie's been spending too much time with you, obviously.
She denied poisoning him. Yes. Well, it stands to reason, doesn't it? Girlfriend out of the way, then why kill him?
Well, he said some pretty horrible things to her. A few hours later, someone kills him.
The poisoning had been going on for weeks, and it still doesn't explain who delivered the fatal blows. The girlfriend?
I thought you said she hadn't left the house in weeks.
Which leaves McAvoy.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Neither do I.
I'll leave you two to sort it out then, shall I? In the meantime, follow up on the secretary, find out where she was the other night. If she checks out, we have to release her. Anything from the school?
I'll let you know tomorrow. Now, in the meantime, how's that sweet tooth of yours?
Why?
Well, there's something on your desk that might tickle your fancy.
Right. Now, the Lamington's mine, the other two are up for grabs.
Since when did you bring home desserts, Lucy?
Since today. I thought you could both use a bit of a treat. Now, what's your poison, Jean?
Well, I'm rather partial to a bit of chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake it is. Allow me. Excuse fingers, Matty?
That bird.
Right. Looks delicious. And for the good doctor. Tuck in.
Oh, it's delicious.
Good. Excellent.
to do.
Cup of tea?
Yes. Before you do that, Jean, would you mind sitting down for a moment?
What?
Maddie, you too. I just want to run a quick test.
On what?
Your blood. Won't take a moment.
What for?
Those cakes last night, they were from the school tuck shop. I believe one of them contained traces of warfarin. So, we prick our fingers, we see how long they bleed, and that will help me determine whether or not my suspicions are correct. Now, give me your hand.
You fed us poisoned cake.
Well, I'm fairly sure I fed myself the poison one, but I need to be certain. So, come on, give me your hand.
Oh!
Ow!
That's the least you deserve.
Oh, come on, Matty. You wouldn't have ingested nearly enough to cause any harm. It's the repeated doses that made Lennox vulnerable. Now, having said that, as you know, warfarin slows down the coagulation process.
What makes you so sure it was in the Lamington?
I found traces of coconut under his desk, so it seems likely. But in order to rule out the others, I need to conduct some tests.
On us?
Well, not just you. There were 8 different types of cake.
I suppose you think that was funny?
Well, you said you wanted medical evidence. Now you've got it. Warfarin was only present in the Lamington. How was that carrot cake, by the way?
A little dry. So, whoever baked the Lamingtons
was lacing them with warfarin. Probably using that rat poison from the tuck shop. And I'd say had been doing so for weeks.
Do we know who that was? Mrs. Wootton.
The constable wouldn't tell me what this is about.
Interview room, please, Constable.
Mum, is everything all right?
The children can wait here.
Wait here.
Right, Mrs. Wootton, this is a list of parents who supplied cakes to the school day photo. Will you take a look at it, please? Your name appears next to the Lamingtons entered into the baking competition. Is this correct?
Yes.
Those Lamingtons contain a poison called warfarin.
What?
It's a blood thinner, believe it or not, used in rat poison. It was present in Mr. Lennox's body at very, very high levels.
We spoke to Mr. Lennox's secretary, who confirmed that he ate several on the day of the school fete.
He loved Lamingtons. That's why we baked them for him.
So you regularly baked for Mr. Lennox?
A fresh batch every few days.
Why?
He's been very supportive with the kids since my husband had to go interstate.
You in love with Mr. Lennox?
No.
We spoke to your neighbours, Mrs. Wootton, and your husband hasn't gone interstate. He's left you. Were you in love with Mr. Lennox?
Well, I thought he liked me, but nothing happened.
So why'd you poison him? Those Lamingtons were baked over a period of weeks. Why? Why?
You didn't bake them, did you? We found this at Mr. Lennox's place. It's not yours, is it? Your ears are pierced. Do you know whose it is?
Lisa's. My daughter. What was she doing at his house?
Lisa baked the Lamingtons for Mr. Lennox.
Paul did.
Davis, where are the children?
I'll call you back. They were right there.
Bloody hell.
I don't know.
We must have some idea where they've gone.
We don't have family here. I don't know.
What about your husband?
I told them he'd gone to Queensland.
Mrs. Wootton, did you have any idea that something was wrong?
Caroline warned me about him. I told her she was mad.
Caroline Palmer?
Mrs. Wootton, what did she say?
She saw him with Lisa. He was...
Did your son know about this?
I don't know.
We checked the bus at the train station, no sign of them.
There are 4 main roads that lead out of town. You take the car, you search all of them. You start with the Midland Highway and you head north.
What will you be doing?
You're talking to Caroline Palmer.
Oh, please. Tell Lisa I'm sorry.
Constable.
Miss Palmer, we're looking for the Wooden Girl.
I don't know where Lisa is. I just know that she's safe from him.
Whoever attacked Joseph Lennox broke a school trophy on him. Is that where I'd find the rest of it? Lisa's mother said that you warned her about Joseph Lennox, but she didn't believe you.
She told me I was just jealous. She screamed at me. She refused to believe it. I could see it happening all over again. To Lisa. Just like it happened to me. I was Lisa's age. My uncle was 40. He told me I'd enjoy it. Told me to keep quiet.
Lisa! Charlie, stay with Paul! Lisa!
Go! What are you doing?
Let him go!
Let him go!
I lived with it for over a year. His threats. The smell of his breath. And when I finally found the courage to tell my father, do you know what he did? He beat me.
Let him go! Stay here, Lisa.
Lisa!
He called me a liar.
No. Come here to me, Lisa. Lisa, get back from there. Shush. Lisa, stay here with me, please.
No one believes you. Of course, his respected, charming brother wouldn't do such a thing. My parents made me apologize to him in front of the entire family. As if I was the one who did something wrong. I wanted to kill myself.
You wouldn't survive. No one would.
Lisa, please come down. Well, tell you what. If you won't come down, looks like I'll have to join you.
No, I'm coming up. Goodness me. It's true what they say, isn't it? Best not to look down. Do you know what? I think I better sit down. Why don't you have a seat with me? Eh? I'd appreciate it. Please?
I knew Joseph was going to get away with it. No one ever believes you.
I do.
What happens now?
Lisa, we know what happened. You don't have to do this.
Listen to me. I think your brother would feel a bit better if we both got off this bridge. What do you think? He needs you. I'll hop off first, all right? Now, how about you? What do you say? Well done. Off you go.
Blake, bit of a hand here, please.
Lisa's brother was poisoning him.
Yes.
She must have told him.
And tried to protect her.
What's going to happen to him?
He'll face children's court, and given the circumstances, and if you agree to give evidence, they'll be lenient. I hope.
Thank you for letting me come in when I was ready. I couldn't have taken it if you'd forced me.
There you go, Caroline.
You ready? Caroline Palmer, I'm arresting you on suspicion of assaulting Mr. Joseph Lennox. You don't have to say anything at this point, but anything you do say may be taken down and used in evidence against you. Do you understand?
I do.
Ah, Matty. How's Lisa?
Fragile. They all are. Especially the mother.
Yes.
Should I have picked up on something?
No, none of us did. Caroline saw Lennox with her. Told her mother. And still nobody believed it. Except her brother, of course.
Well, still doesn't make me feel any better. I was just getting them something to drink.
Well, you returned McAvoy's shoes yet?
I'll do it tomorrow.
Listen. That time when we were kids, I found you by the stairwell. You were coughing up a lung. You said you'd been smoking.
McAvoy belted me. Happened a lot. Made me who I am, though.
And who's that, Matthew?
I get angry when something's unfair. You know, I use his turns of speech and his facial expressions when I'm interviewing someone who really deserves it. It's pretty damned effective.
sir.
Now you're sorry. You're embarrassed. I'm the one who's sorry. Hey, how'd you like it if I gave you a reason?
McAvoy! Let him go.
Splashy?
So you belted me and I wet my pants. I was 12 years old. Let him go.
Not wearing a uniform?
My day off. Give him his ball.
No.
Give him his ball. Take your ball, son. As you grow up, you don't want to be anything like this bloke. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
On your way. I hear one more word of complaint against you. I'll break all your teeth. Got it? Here's your shoes.
You polished them.
I'm old-fashioned. They needed it. Boy.
They cut her throat.
So what should I be looking for?
How about a blade with dirt on it, a motive and a killer?
And you are?
Jeffrey led with her. She was my girlfriend.
Whose work is this?
Elaine Greenslade. She was obsessed with Virginia.
Did you think that she was perhaps more talented than you?
Of course she was talented. She was just never given a chance to show it.
Virginia McKay had a set of keys for the gallery. It is really important that I know they're secure. Did you find anything else on her? Anything at all?
Miss McKay was murdered.
I do apologise.
As a matter of fact, you could slice right through someone's larynx with one of those if you wanted to.
What about your mother's paintings? Where are they? We loved your mother. We're all she has left, Lucia.
The painting that was here, Mr. Johnston, where is it now?
Nobody would want to steal that. It's by an obscure local artist, Genevieve Etienne. If she wasn't a local, she wouldn't be in the gallery at all.
She was my mother. Look at you.
Next on ABC One, Gates is in trouble when his blackmailers take their harassment to a whole new level. Line of Duty. And over on ABC Two, Can Have Sex, Will Have Sex. Or head to iView. Janet King is now showing.